o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. May I have roll call, please?
Yes. Terrell Moore,
Here.
Frank Shanebeck,
Here.
D.L. Kine is excused, Cheryl Bigelow,
Here.
Felicia Madrid is excused, Judy Bory,
Here.
Heather Moeller.
Here. All right. I'm going to call for the motion on the consent agenda. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Parks and Recreation Commission accept the agenda as presented and approve the minutes from the March 6, 2024 meeting, regular meeting.
And may I have a second?
A second.
And then a roll call, please.
D.L. Kine is excused, Felicia Madrid is excused, Judy Bory,
Yes.
Frank Shanebeck,
Yes.
Cheryl Bigelow,
Yes.
Terrell Moore,
Yes.
Heather Moeller.
Yes.
Okay. That's approved.
All right. So have any of the commissioners, did you do any events in April that you'd like to share?
Well, here, I'll start. Wow, April it flew by. So unfortunately, again, my time is at the library, seeing all the great books at the library. I didn't have the opportunity to kind of get out and see all the amazing things that are happening within our city. So hopefully with May here, the 4th would be me forcing myself to get out the library and see all the incredible things happening before it gets too hot.
That's a good wordplay.
Could you mention Public Art Commission real quick?
Then yes. So also the cool part about it is with Public Arts is we're starting the process of setting a meeting in order for us to look at the vinyl for the MGC. Yes. So hopefully here in within this month, I should have an update to kind of share on some information in regards to it. Very
And
excited.
Terrell is representing the Parks and Rec Commission as before on the panel that will be selecting the artist. Is that right?
Yes.
They went out for
Correct.
RFP. And so that is one thing that you're doing and giving your extra time to. So
Right.
thank you.
And I attended Dino Days, and that was a lot of fun. Also, the Easter egg hunt was fun, too. A lot of kids, oh my gosh.
That's such a big event.
It is, it is. Do you know how many were there?
Delia and I were both counting. I think she probably had the busier end. And I just added up now, I was around 600.
Wow.
And that was children of the proper age groups going through the gates. That didn't include parents, grandparents, or anybody else.
Wow.
So at least I
I'm
would
sure
say-
Jamie will be sharing that in her rec report as well. So
And, well, go ahead, can I go ahead?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, well, I did do the Easter egg hunt. Went to the Ladybug release, took home a few. Most of them were in the jar. And went to the open house at Blossom Rock. Boy, that is a park we have down there. Whoa, so that was a very interesting tour. They had it very nicely set up, shuttle buses running everywhere.
Wow.
It was sweet. That was me.
I did. Oh, go ahead.
I went to the Ladybug Festival too. It's one of my favorite events every year to release the ladybugs. And of course, the senior center.
I did participate with the flowers at the focal point, and half of them are still alive because I quasi followed the instructions, which I appreciate the instructions. So that was on me. That was on me. And then, of course, did participate in the Earth Day event with the ladybugs. I thought that was a great event. I don't know how many people were there, but maybe you'll let us know. I did not participate in the solar eclipse event, but I was super excited to see that it was going to be at the Multi-Gen Center out on the deck. So I'm really excited. Hopefully you'll have something to say about that. And then I know this wasn't Parks and Recreation event, but it was at Prospector Park, and it was the Battle of the Badges, and I think perhaps Parks and Recreation should help out AJPD
Yeah.
because they got slaughtered again, third in a row. I went to the community picnic out at Radiance. I did not realize there were so many houses and people that already lived there, so that was pretty cool to experience. And then I also participated in the Blossom Rock. And I don't know how many people were there, but it looked fantastic, and I love to look at houses, and there were so many different events. I really enjoyed that, and I don't even know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm looking forward to it. So a super exciting event. And everyone shared, so we're going to move right along. Then we're going to go into the staff report. So Mrs. Langenbach, will you please give us your staff report?
Yes, thank you, Chair Moeller. As a reminder to everybody, I know you all got an email about this, but Pat Ainsworth wanted us to remind everybody that next Wednesday is the chance for the community to come out, and you are all invited to attend the master plan, downtown master plan kind of information gathering. It's an open house. It's going to be at the Multi-Gen Center, and it's from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And like I said, I think you all received this from Pat, so just look through your email, but we would love for you to come down. We've had a lot of studies done in the past of the downtown area, the vision of the city, but this one is really focused to that, in that little Y area by the Focal Point, Flatiron, all of that concentrated area there. The city had purchased some of that land that is in the old Grand Hotel site so that it can be developed for the purposes of a really vibrant and, place that people would enjoy in the downtown area. And so this is kind of the visioning for that, and we would love everybody's input and help. Planning and zoning, they're going through lots of they're meeting with the chamber members, business members, the development community, and just getting lots of feedback. They have a consultant, Swabak, who is a great major planner and architectural firm. He's done a lot of really great downtowns. Yes, so just wanted to remind you of that. I told Pat I would share that with you. So that's something coming up. The other thing I wanted to report on is our Silly Mountain invasive. So we've shared multiple times we had received the invasive plants grant from DFFM, and that just kicked off here in the spring. Unfortunately, we did not get that funding, and we're not ready to start until we're in the midst of terrible weed season. And so right now we're focused on Silly Mountain and a lot of our fine fuels removal. Last weekend we did a prescribed burn in the right-of-way areas that had already been previously pulled. And so right now we're experimenting with a lot of different things. I think if you looked around the community, it is a major problem for everybody. It's not just Apache Junction. It's Pinal County, it's Maricopa County, Pima County. We have a meeting with members that are from Pima County area to learn what we are doing with our drone applications at Silly Mountain. And then their email said, and then if you could tell us what you're doing successfully with StinkNet. Well, the answer is none of us are very successful with it right now. It's spreading faster than we can manage it. But there's a lot of new things out there. We're part of a very strong Desert Defenders group in the East Valley, in the Valley. And so this grant is just now kicking off. We're doing a few experimental sections, and then we will be working closely with the city manager's office, the fire department, and the public works department to start planning what we're going to be doing throughout the summer. In the fall, when we have a green up period of buffalo grass and fountain grass, StinkNet will show up again in the spring, especially if there's a wet winter again, and we'll know a little bit more about that. But we'll start sharing what are some of the successes and what are things that residents can do. We've also started a partnership with Cabot's Ace Hardware that's going to partner with us and help with some discounted products and some different things that they can kind of share in the community. But we have a lot on the radar, so if it feels like nobody's doing anything about it, I get it. It feels that way, but it's a mass project. Our grant is a 3-year grant, and we're just at the very beginning of it. And so we'll definitely be doing a bigger presentation, probably end of summer, to share kind of where we're at and what we're learning as we go. We are working with some really smart people that they specialize in weed and turf grasses as well as weed control. And so we'll be sharing a little bit more about that, as well as the ASU study. So we worked with the ASU students in the communications department last fall, and we should be getting their final report here very soon about our marketing campaign. So they worked on a strategy for us for both residents as well as park visitors. So we'll be rolling that out as well in the fall with everything that we're doing with this grant. So we just wanted to share that with you. Dave Butler, our park superintendent, he'll be joining us along with 2 of our new supervisors next meeting in, that month is June. I almost said May. In June, he'll be bringing Shauna Hash. She was just added she's our North Team park supervisor as we moved Matt King to the rodeo grounds and all of our trails and open space. And then Josh Vega was promoted internally to the South Team maintenance supervisor. So both of them will be attending the June meeting to get introduced to all of you and to, just so you can get a chance to meet them and hear what it is that they're working on. And then the last thing I wanted to share in this part of the presentation or in my report is just to put onto your radar about the strategic plan. So last year we adopted our strategic plan for the very first time with this commission. And as a reminder, that's going to be an annual renewal. So that's part of looking at what we're doing in the current year, what successes and things that we need to work on from the previous year, and just looking at some of that long-term planning. I'm sharing that with you because the strategic plan is currently on our homepage of the Parks and Rec site. You all should have a copy. We've spent a lot of time on this. We won't spend all the time that we did building this very first one. This is going to be an update to it. So it will change up a little bit with what's happened in the past year, and it'll be your chance to share, well, now here's what I'm hearing this year. I think somebody shared at one of the last council meetings I was at that there's not a playground in the, anything west of Ironwood or west of Idaho almost, if you don't go farther south. Why is that? Mostly because we just never had the opportunity there. We don't have land there, we don't have those things, but those are the types of things. Is there a need? Are there families that want to take advantage of that? So be thinking over the next 3 months or so, what are some of those things that you're hearing? Are they already on our strategic plan, or do we need to be adding them to it? So I just wanted to get that onto your radar. And that concludes my part of the staff report. So we'll turn it over to Recreation.
Awkward silence for a moment.
And just to let you know, I have seen that flyer for the downtown all over Facebook, multiple places. Good.
All right, good evening, Parks and Rec Commission. The past 2 months have been a whirlwind of events and activities, and you guys all know because you have been there. So I appreciate that.
Is yours on? Is your
It
microphone?
should be. The green light is on.
There it is.
Okay.
So to give a quick snapshot of what has happened since we last met, and when I say quick, I'm going to talk fast. So we had Blues and Brews, which is not our event, but we do co-sponsor partnered event. They had an attendance of 2,500. We did have Dino Days with a record attendance of 1,200. Our Easter egg hunt, we clicked 1,400 kiddos. So we're estimating about 4,500 in attendance. We will have to make some changes next year to help with the growth of that event. We had our Shamrock Hunt, our Leapin' Leprechauns were all over our parks this year, so that was a ton of fun. If you feel like you missed out, there's still a few Shamrocks at Prospector Park. They'll be there until tomorrow at the Water Festival. We had bingo at the Multi-Gen Center, the family big bingo event. We've had to add multiple of those because they are so popular. We had our Ladybug release, which did see a bit of a decrease, but there was a lot going on that day. The weather was perfect, but we still estimated that we had a crowd of about 2,000 people at that event. We had our Lost Dutchman Awards banquet that was hosted by LDM, where we proudly accepted our check for our scholarship fund. We greatly support and appreciate their annual checks, which, just as a reminder, fund our scholarship program. So that way, if we have folks in need that that need that support here in AJ in our school district, they can get that. In sports, we finished up men's basketball this on Monday, and we finished co-ed softball on Tuesday night. So Gary's probably going to have a great next week where he can rest, and then he'll get right into summer sports camps. I know that I missed something just because it's been 2 months and we have a lot of good stuff going on. This past month, the Multi-Gen Center held a small focus group to work with its members who have various different needs and wants to learn more about what's important to them and kind of build on a strategy to get some surveys out there and just help us build diversity in programs and when is it best to do programs and whatnot. And then our upstairs, we also had drop-in volleyball at the Multi-Gen Center is going through the roof. That's on Thursday nights. And then gaining in popularity is a adult basketball drop-in group.
Nice.
And I would say they're, between their 40s and 50s. So these aren't the 18-year-olds. They usually come on Friday nights. These guys are coming Friday mornings. And so they're gaining in popularity. So we had our first big event upstairs on our deck. We partnered with the library for the solar eclipse. And I want to say 100 and, what was it? Two throughout that whole time. So, nothing brings a crowd in like a speck on the sun. So,
These were sweet glasses.
They were sweet. They were sweet glasses. We were happy to have them and
Yeah.
show off our deck. It was super cool to see it being used for programming.
Well, you had good snacks too.
By the time I got there, most of them were gone. So, but I appreciated the playlist. It was an amazing playlist. So, this past weekend, we were also got to be part of the Blossom Rock event. We got to show off all of our big props and justify to my boss why we need all of those things.
Beautiful sled, by the way.
Right. We have a new sled that we got to showcase that will be featured at holiday event. And yeah, great amenities. We just can't, we're so excited to be able to think of all the amazing things to program, the new park, the lake, the linear park. There's just so much going on over there. And they did a great job hosting that event. And again, the weather was amazing. So upcoming, we have Mother's Day Tea Party coming up. We also have May the 4th Be With You. So all of our Star Wars fanatics, Saturday night, you can come on out and watch a Star Wars story. And I heard that the Star Troopers might be showing up in full force. So bring your Jedis out. We will be doing a proclamation earlier this month with council. May 18th will be National Kids to Park Day. And we have graciously partnered with the library to come to our park.
Nice.
Actually, they had a storybook walk event. They're already scheduled, and so we asked if we could jump in on them. So we'll be doing a movie and arts and crafts, and
It's a great partnership.
it is. It is a wonderful partnership. And then we are busy working on summer programming. So in all the extra minutes we have, we are gearing up for a very healthy-looking summer program. And so I wanted to briefly share with you guys a snapshot of the pool.
Really quick, you said May 18th was called National
National Kids to Park Day. And it is a national event
I'm
through,
writing on the back of it.
yes, you do have a snapshot flyer in your goodie bag. So I have brought back and updated our snapshot at the pool to give you guys kind of an idea of how much programming we have going on. This looks very similar to what we shared with you guys last summer, but we now have open swim 7 days a week, so that has been filled in there on Monday. We will continue with the Wednesday free swimming for youth 17 and younger. We've also added a swim team. So we are very proud and excited to bring back the AJ Dolphins. They will compete in 2 home meets. Those will be on Saturdays. I will make sure you guys have information if you want to come out and support them. But we had 20. We were going to start with 20, and I think that they're already at 17 kids registered. So, which in the grand scheme of things is a very small swim team comparatively. but we're getting back into the game. So 20 is a very good start for us. We have themed events or themed activities every Friday. The aquatics team is working on what that will look like, just to get kids excited about what's happening at the pool on Friday night. And then they have their typical dive-in movies. The pool can be rented for private reservations for shared use, or you can share it with another party, or you can rent it for exclusivity. And we're starting to see some outside groups starting to see more interest in being able to have the flexibility to maybe do those in May again instead of having to wait until June or July will be really good for us. So, what else so I did really try hard to keep this short. But this concludes my report at this time, unless you guys have any questions. Judy or Cheryl? I was looking at Judy.
I know. I take it there's no way to bump up that water aerobics on and make it a little earlier. Like, can we switch with a swim lesson? 7:30 is so late, man. I want to be in bed.
I understand and I feel your need, but we also work with our local swim teams as well. But could you imagine how much harder it would be for a 5-year-old to be taking their swim lesson at 7:30 at night? But we will duly noted, and let me put it out there to you, if we had opportunities on Saturdays,
Oh,
would
yeah,
that
definitely.
be?
Yep.
So that might be something that, if not this summer, because
Sure,
this is
sure.
packed, but definitely good to know.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Looks great.
All right. You got it, Liz?
Perfect.
All right. So now we're going to go for old business. And then, do I read the numbers? Okay. No, they're not the numbers. A discussion and update on Painted Sky Park in Blossom Rock.
All right, thank you. And I know you kind of heard a little bit from each other that we're able to attend this weekend, but and then also from Jamie that we definitely had a city presence there, so we could just share with future potential residents that all the great services that we offer in our community. Let me get this started real quick. We had shared last time. We shared a little bit of an update on the parks, and then I think as we had questions last year about is it open to the public and how did it kind of get started, it just made me think be a great time to come back. Some of you might not have been here whenever you might be new to the commission since some of the early development stages happened. And so now would be a great time to kind of just do a quick little recap of how we got out here and what the future kind of looks like. And so really quickly, just want to give a quick history. So back in 2021, that's when the development agreement was signed by the City Council, Arizona State Land Department, D.R. Horton, and Brookfield. So after probably about 2 years of, let me just backtrack. After 20-some years plus of city manager's office and the city working with previous developers and the state to develop that area, then the market kind of tanked and all of that went away. This was a new opportunity for developers to want to come in and look at developing that area, bringing in homes. And as we've talked about in the past, in order for AJ to get some of the things that we want and to grow as a city, we really needed more bodies. We want to have more amenities in our community. So it's something that our city has been planning for many years. So growth to the south, hopefully keeping our north end and our eastern end, a little bit more rural and kind of the lifestyle that we want. But in this area, we worked very hard to find out, how we can meet the current market for a need for housing, as well as be able to expand all the amenities down in there. So October 2021 is whenever that development agreement was made. A big portion of that development agreement is where parks would go, where a substation for a public library, the police department, another fire department, those kinds of things are planned into the overall grand scheme of things. Blossom Rock, which is done by Brookfield, that's again the part that is on the east side of Ironwood, D.R. Horton is on the west side. They've already started building. But we only have public spaces that were planned into the Blossom Rock side in this first phase. So later on, probably towards the end of development, we will have public spaces that are on the D.R. Horton side, on the west side of Ironwood. But right now, it's Brookfield who had planned for 3 major district parks in their area, and as well as a linear park that is basically adjacent to Ironwood and then adjacent to Blossom Rock within the community.
And those are all public.
Those are all, so everything that is in color right here is what is public at in the Blossom Rock area. So in January of 2023, we took to the city council a maintenance agreement. So we're going to have public parks here. That's going to, and I'll share with you a little bit about how everything gets built and how it gets paid for and all of that, but that at one point in time, there has to be a maintenance agreement. So in 2023, we took this to the city council, the Brookfield and Blossom Rock Community Alliance, and the city entered into an agreement. As you all know, this last Saturday was the grand opening of Blossom Rock models, and a sneak peek of future public parks took place. We keep trying to say that because they're not technically open yet. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Mm-hmm. They were open enough and in a safe way that people could come and experience them, but there's still lots of little details that have to be finished. So right now, people really aren't supposed to be on the playground, and there will be fencing going up and some other things after this grand opening so that they can continue to work in a safe manner. Summer of 2024, I don't know if that's the end of this month, if that's June, if that's July. We should be learning in the next week. There's a lot of cleanup that has to be done because they spent a lot of money, of their own money, no city money, to get ready for this grand opening. Mm-hmm. And there will be a lot of things that have to be fixed and changed and completed after that. So as soon as we know more, we will definitely be sharing with you when we anticipate the opening of the public spaces. Summer 2024, we anticipate the opening of Painted Sky Park, which is the South District Park down here at the end. It's on both sides of that interior road, which includes a lake, playground, dog park, and then additional other amenities. So I'm going to play for you. So they took this video, and then at the end, I'm going to show you a little video that Matthew McNulty did for the event. But this kind of gives you a little look at where they're at as of right now. So this is the adventure playground, this entire area here. This fencing that's around it it's not complete. So it was put in place as a temporary structure for the event, but this will have a little bit more completed, altogether finished whenever they're all done. But this is an entire climbing wall and a whole bunch of other, the good portion of it is all ADA accessible. It's supposed to be a really great amenity for us. And then as well as the lake, the really important thing that I want you to remember about the lake, so there will be fish. We'll actually be stocking the lake this month sometime. It is not a fishing lake, though, right now. It's not part of the Game and Fish community fishing program. People will not be allowed to fish at it. We are working with them on potentially making it a catch and release lake. Mm-hmm. This Central District Park is where our actual fishing pond is going to be. That one has a dock and a whole lot of other amenities in it, but this one is, there'll be a continuous path all the way around for walking around it. And then as a reminder, as it's getting over, I'm going to pause it really quickly. Oh, darn it. I guess I don't know what I'm doing. I kind of know what to do here. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, I'm just going to pause it right here. As a reminder, so water is a very important concept in this area. I know everybody's very concerned about it, but a lot of thought and following our one water concept that is in our general plan was all part of the planning department, emphasis with D.R. Horton and with Brookfield. Mm-hmm. Brookfield took it to really high levels, so that's why there are 3 parks that all have lakes in them. These lakes are retaining ponds, so all the water that is used throughout the facility from the sewer district that is washing that gets treated, and then it's pumped back, it's treated and then reclaimed, and then it's pumped back, and the lake has reclaimed water in it. And then there's another pump that then pumps that water out as it's needed for all of the irrigation, for all of the community spaces. So not just the public parks, but all of the neighborhood parks and all of the street landscaping. Every bit of the irrigation is gaining water that is reclaimed. So that's not potable water. That's not water that we could have been using for drinking and all of that. Right. So it's a very, if there's any way you can conserve, this is one way to do that. So it's just really important that you know that about these lakes. They're not just put here, and they're not being built that we have to fill it with, our regular water. It's there for a very important purpose as well.
Liz, will they be able to use paddle boards and those type of things on that lake? Or
great.
Those little paddle boat type things with a...
Probably in the district park will be big enough. I would say that this one is not big enough. So if you're out there, it's not a very big lake. So I will ask what other cities do in something this size, but I don't believe that it's something where, and you have to have a place to store all of that. As of now, that's not designed, but I will ask for our central district park. And then this little median area that's in between, that's called Blossom Rock. That's kind of the subarterial road that goes throughout the complex, and it divides their whole property in half. That's actually me.
I was going to say.
So this is for the setup. I saw the drone up there, and I should have waved, but I didn't. So we just passed over the dog park, and we'll kind of, if we don't get back, that's my vehicle that we brought all of our stuff in the morning. How embarrassing. The really great thing about, so if I could pause and not mess up. So there are, Judy, you're going to be so excited, but there are bocce courts. So over here, what we just went by, there are bocce courts. I think we talked about this a long time ago. I'm so excited that those are there for you. And then there's ping pong and cornhole are all in that little space off to the side. I'm pointing at it like you guys can see me over here someplace. And then the dog park has 3 fenced areas just like our current dog. Matthew is going to kill me. I'm doing a terrible job. Okay. There are 3 dog parks. So just like Dutchman, we will have a passive and an active area that are set up very similar. And then this middle section, which doesn't have all the cool tunnels and all that, that is going to be our reservable section. And it will also be used for rotating whenever we have to, if we do have to do overseeding and things like that. These are 3 very big spaces, and they're all a little bit more similar in size. And so I think it'll serve that purpose a little bit better than Dutchman. Right now, we really can't move people around from one to the next. Right. But it's a fabulous dog park. We're super excited about it, but it will have all very similar operations to Dutchman. The one nice thing is that now that we'll have 2 in this area, we'll be able to have different hours. So the days that we're closed for maintenance down here will actually be, we'll try to have opposite days at this one so that there will always be something in the community that people could go to. And you can kind of see some of the little features that dogs can play with. Some people did bring out their dogs to the grand opening, and that was really cool. And then both animal controls centers did it, or they brought out dogs as well. See, and now I can't get out of it. Okay. So then just a little bit about what this all means, so that you can kind of understand how this was, where is the money coming from, who paid for it, so if you're asked, you will know. So Brookfield, they built the parks, the roads, and they brought in the utilities, all those kinds of things. That's part of the agreement that they're the ones doing all of that and paying for it all up front. They're taking all the risk on investing in all of these amenities. The new homeowners in this area, they will be part of what's called a community facilities district, and they will have their own, it's technically a property tax in that area that nobody in the rest of our city has, but when they buy their home, they will be paying into the community facilities district, and then that is what will reimburse Brookfield or D.R. Horton, because they invested in a lot of infrastructure as well. That's what will be reimbursing them for anything that is public. That's the only thing that they can be reimbursed from that.
So is that going to Is that gonna reimburse Parks and Rec too for maintaining all that?
So we'll get to there. Right now, I'm talking about who's building it, because that's really important. And so that's how so the new homeowners and the developers are the people who are building this.
Right.
This is, the district park alone is like $23 million. There's no way that we would ever raise enough money or save enough money to build the amenities that are here. But we're getting something out of this whole thing that's for our whole community. So that's one of the reasons why we're very excited about that. So then Blossom Rock Community Association, did I spell that wrong? Oh, no, I didn't. They will handle all maintenance, repairs, the janitorial, all the things that our guys do right now. Our park attendants at night, all of that stuff is handled by who they contract. They have to go through a public process to do that, because they will ultimately be using city funds to pay that. But they are the ones who will be doing all the work, which is kind of a good thing for us to gradually get into this, so we didn't have to hire more park staff. We didn't have to buy more fleet. We didn't have to get more mowers and more equipment or have space down there. So it really is a good way for us to gradually get into this whole master planned concept. And then the city will pay, part of our maintenance agreement is that we agreed to a per acre cost that we are currently paying on all of our existing parks. So we took all of our parks and looked at what is our annual per acre cost, not necessarily the capital cost, whenever we replace something, but what does it cost for us to maintain our existing parks? And that is what is determined as our level of service. So the level of service that we provide to this side of the community is the same level of service we're going to provide there. So there is a maximum price, per acre price, that we can pay up to, and nothing over that unless it's renegotiated somewhere down the line. The association and Brookfield, they'll pay the balance of that. So there's some amenities here that are more costly than some other things that we have. We also have the aquatic center is more costly than every park that we do for a very short amount of time. But the things that they want to have that are maybe a higher level of maintenance or a higher level of standard, they pay above and beyond whatever it is that we're contributing. And so in that way, it makes it so that way it's public and all of our community can utilize these parks. So that's our contribution to that. Painted Sky Park, Ironwood Linear Park, and then Ridge. So this is Ironwood Linear Park. When this development is completely done, then it will run all the way alongside Ironwood from Ray to Elliott. And then Blossom Rock Trail, that linear park is called Ridgeline Linear Park. And so that's this little green space right here. Currently, there is a basketball court in there, a very small playground, and then a big outdoor classroom that we'll use for events, as well as the schools that are planned for there will use that. Our park rangers will patrol the public spaces, just like they do all of ours. And recreation will program events and activities with our various partners. So whether it's the library or the community association that all the residents belong to, we'll be doing some different things with them there that are open to everybody in the public. So just kind of a little quick recap of what's where. Painted Sky West is that part that's on the left side where the lake is. So it has a lake with walking paths and ramadas. It has an adventure playground and climbing wall, and then restroom and parking. That's what's public over there. They will be building a community center and a private pool that is for their members, but we don't pay anything for that. We don't maintain it. We don't do anything with that, and it has its own access. Painted Sky East is where the dog park is, has gathering spaces, ramadas, the bocce, ping pong, and cornhole, and then also another restroom and parking facility there. And then the linear parks that I just shared with you, what's kind of included in those. So at this time, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any and help you if there's anything else that you're not sure of.
Question. So I just need more clarification.
No problem.
Because you said that like at Blossom Rock, they're going to deal with the maintenance, but you said something about using city funds. Or did I hear
They're going to physically be the ones doing the maintenance.
Okay.
But we will be contributing towards that maintenance because these are public parks.
So when you say we are going to be contributing, that means all Apache Junction residents.
Correct, because it is available to all Apache Junction residents.
So where does that money come from? Like, is there something in our taxes that's gonna,
So remember that we don't have a property tax in the
Right,
whole
right.
city, it's our sales tax. So these individuals are contributing to sales tax as well as the rest of our community. And so as people say, I want to have, you know, we don't have a lake here in our community, we don't have these amenities, we now have them for our whole community. And so yes, sales
so it's
tax,
the sales tax really
our
that's supporting-
normal general fund, which is funded by sales tax, as well as our state shared revenue, our county shared revenue, all of those things that make up our regular revenue stream. We will now have, right now we have 600 new families that are living at D.R. Horton. Every time they buy something in one of our businesses or order online, we are getting, so online sales has been the savior because anything, they don't have to go to a store to get that, for us to get that sales tax. If they're buying from Amazon or anything online and it comes to their home and they bought it from their home, AJ gets that sales tax. So all of this is funded through our general fund, and we have felt confident over the years as we planned for this that we would have enough to be able to support this for our entire community.
Yeah, I just need to understand it so I can explain it.
Yeah, does that make sense though?
Kind of. So,
What doesn't make sense? Let me know and I will try to help you.
well, I guess because everybody always asks, well, are our taxes gonna go up? And again, I know we don't have property taxes. So, but it's the sale, I think I understand the sales tax is gonna generate, that's what's gonna.
Yep, so
support it.
right now, based on what we know, our existing tax, right now in our budget, we have plans for what that actual money is next year. And it's well within what we're already bringing in. And then, like I said, we will have all of these new bodies to contribute to the taxes that are here for roads, for police support, for library, for Parks and Rec.
Okay. And nothing's gonna be affected on this end. Like our parks are still gonna be maintained.
Yep, and in
'cause
fact,
think
like I
that's-
said, the best thing is that we're not having to take any of our resources
Right.
and shift them over there. We will just be helping to pay for the maintenance on that side of everything. And if you have questions from folks that you can't answer or that you're not sure of, have no doubt that you can send them to me or that you can schedule time, and I'm happy to sit down with anybody that wants to, you know, learn more, because it is confusing, and I think people do have some fears. But we've wanted some of these amenities for many, many years, and how amazing it is that we didn't have to find $23 million to build them.
Right. Yeah.
I just can't, we would never have those. It took us 5 years with development fees to build Flatiron Park. That was a little over $1 million. It took us another 5 years after that to build Dutchman Dog Park, which was just barely over $1 million with development fees. So that's $2 million in 10 years. So that tells me that we have to find other ways of doing things in our community. And I'm very proud of our city management and our city council for thinking of ways that we can bring some of these amenities to our entire community.
I think this was a great deal.
Any other questions? All right. Feel free to email me or ask me anything, you know, outside of these meetings as well, and I'm happy to help.
Perfect.
Is that video, are those videos
shoot.
available?
I did see a video.
Actually, I do. I'm sorry. I know we have a lot on the agenda tonight, but I do have one more that I wanted to share with you guys. This one is the one from Matt, and you can see this on our Facebook page. Let me get to the beginning of it. It's very short. I wish Matt could help me control from here. This was the actual event. Oh, Christy. That guy is just out there painting the lake. That's all. That's what he was doing. It's really cool.
That's incredible.
Great job, Matthew.
So that furniture is gonna be out there available all the time?
Say that again?
That furniture that's sitting in the,
Apparently so. So we're going to learn a lot of things. There's a lot of things that were a surprise to me. I will
Yeah.
just say that. So, but they do this in Eastmark. They did Verado. We'll learn a lot.
well, I think again, it's a matter of what we get for a reputation in the park.
Yeah.
People find they can't be sleeping on those benches, they won't be sleeping on the benches.
It's on a different side of the community too and
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Perfect.
All right, so we're going to do the discussion and update on Rodeo Grounds Master Plan.
All right, and so this one, we'll be kind of quick because you've already seen the majority of this, and what we really want to just share is some of the new stuff that we presented to council at the last update that we gave to them. So J2, like he came and presented to you, came and presented to city council. I'm not going to go through, this is all background that we shared the last time we were with you, but if you have questions, we can always go back to this. And then just as a reminder, so we had our big open house and they presented to the Parks and Rec Commission. We had our survey and we shared those results with you guys at the last meeting. Just as a quick reminder, I like to put this on every time so people can kind of understand scale of this is the 20 acres that we purchased. This is the 200 and something acres that is the Prospector Park lease that is still under a BLM rec and public purpose. We get to do all of our great and amazing events and activities out there with paying no money for that land or anything like that as long as we don't have commercial activity there. We've tried to really remind everybody that this is just a conceptual. It's going to be implemented in phases based on funding. It might be 10 or 20 years that it takes to do that. It might be 5 if everything blows up and we have all kinds of money. Great. Then we could do things sooner. But basically we wanted to make sure that we captured, so this is the layout right now of what we have out there. We want to be able to capture all the things that our current event planners and future event planners and all of our staff need for the future. And so the biggest thing is that we want it to be a multi-purpose facility, so that way we can be renting it and using it multiple days out of the year. Multiple days in the week, multiple events on the same day at times. We want to be able to do a lot of different things here eventually. This is very similar to the master plan that you guys saw. There were some minor tweaks from your guys' presentation, and I will just mention a couple of those. We did a little bit of shifting of the seating and where bucking chutes are and some of these horse stalls based on conversations that they had out. They went out to Lost Dutchman Days, met with those planners to kind of see exactly how they're using the space now. We added in things that you guys talked about, making sure that we mentioned where restrooms will be once there's new buildings, where we might have possible bike and motorcycle parking. They just went through and made sure that some of those little tweaks that we heard in our earlier plans, as well as from the community, were captured in some way, shape, or form.
Nice.
So this was the phasing plan that was presented to City Council. And I don't want us to get too caught up into this. This was just a concept from J2 that if we were to look at phasing this approach, and depending on funding, what are the things that make sense to do together and what are the priorities? And while I know everybody wants us to have events and concerts and things like that out there now, one of the things that's in phase 3 is this, grand stage area. And so the main reason why we prioritize things the way we did was so that so this is another project that's about $23 million if you were to do everything here. So how do we break that down into more manageable pieces? How do we look to how we could fund it through grants and partnerships and other things? We look to see what are the things we need today to be able to do events immediately. And infrastructure is one of our biggest things. So utilities, right now we don't have water or electricity that goes any beyond where the restroom is and the arena itself. So getting that to all these other areas is really important. There's a lot of drainage issues out there. If you've been to Lost Dutchman Days, every other year there's a major storm and we're swimming in wherever the water is washed to. But some of the things that all the groups could use immediately, we have a temporary tent that is only up there for a few weeks out of the year, having a permanent structure there was in the desires of everybody to have something that is out there that we could do much more programming in. Covered stalls for people to rent and to be able to use for horses. Those were some of the things that were in that first phase. And then secondary, because our biggest event is Lost Dutchman Days, but that only happens one weekend out of the entire year. It wouldn't make sense to invest in millions of dollars worth of new seating until we know we're starting to bring in some more things. Right now, we bring in temporary bleachers that we rent, and we wouldn't get return on investment in that if we bought them for probably 20, 30 years. So phase 2 has a lot of the things that once we start attracting a few more events, we might be able to justify having some of these other improvements. So some of these buildings would then get built with restrooms and things like that. The maintenance yard and the show office, all of that is for the second phase, if you will. And then finally, in the last phase is our raised event space, this whole space over here. Some of the walkways that are more on the, well, I guess just this one. It's the only one that's in the yellow. The parking lot, so like all these trees and making it, all of this stuff is kind of a final phase because it can serve its purpose right now. So that was kind of their theory on what could be, how it could be phased. You guys saw these diagrams of what some of the amenities. They threw in a few more pictures that were a little bit more to our theme and to what our stuff looks like. So a big event space and stage, what that would look like, what maybe our covered ramada could look like for other events and activities, some of the different features. Those are all outside if somebody wanted to look at it. Here's the important part. So money. So all these visionary stuff that we do is really great. And it's important so that we know what we would like to do. But until you actually put money towards things, you know, then they just are still just wish items. And so these are big ticket items. They're not, we don't have money in the budget already for this, but we do have money for our, whatever we decide is going to be our first phase design. We want to design as much of that up front as we can so that we're ready with plans on the shelf. And then to do a few of the things that we want to do. So next year's budget has $1 million in it right now. When you ask, like, where is that coming from? So we have a city has a fund balance. That means savings over many, many years. Right. Our city is a very conservative city, and I think that is awesome. So they have a savings, if you will. But there's lots of other needs, not just the rodeo grounds. Right. And the city council will have to decide later, you know, where does this rank on all those other needs? We have a PD facility that is long overdue for being upgraded and updated. We have all kinds of road stuff that we will learn more about, you know, whether we have all the funding we need for that. So knowing what you need is the first step. And so to do these things. So next year, what we have put into the budget as a very beginning start is to do design and then to pick one or two of the items that could help us immediately, like that big, why can't I say it? Thank you. The big shade structure that everybody can use immediately, that they are, we don't have out there right now. So there's some things we could do in that first initial that we do have money, we have savings for, that council feels that with the taxes that we're bringing in currently, that we have for that. They could choose over time to go out for a bond or to do other things, but those all are things that will take lots of other consideration that they'll be thinking of. What we want you to know right now is what each of those, the phases that J2 broke out for us, they price them. We have a detailed line item, every single picnic table, every single tree, every single foot of concrete is on that. They use their experience and all of the other projects that they've done in the last year to 2 years, and they have a whole spreadsheet of what it costs to do those things. And so this is their very, you know, rough but smart estimate of what it could cost us, you know, down the road.
Liz?
Yes.
On the RV spaces, is that going to be full hookups? Do we have the capacity to handle the sewage and septic?
So we only have septic at this site. We will never, I shouldn't say never. There is no short term for having sewer because the sewer district does not go this far.
Right.
And they don't have plans right now to go any farther than, I think they might have sewer to some of the homes down here, but there isn't in their master plan to go there. So it's all septic. Mm-hmm. And so we would be bringing it, we would have facilities that could be pumped, that can do a lot of different things, but they would be, these RV spaces are for hookups, for water,
Right, so are they gonna
some
be
type of
used-
dumping, and then, yes.
Do we plan to like rent them out over the year? Is that
So
gonna become a?
those are things that could happen. They're also used for events, so a
Right.
lot of the events need those types of things now.
Yeah.
But let's say in the off-season, there could be the opportunity to be able to rent these spaces out to the public that is wanting to come by for 2 or 3 weeks or a small weekend while they're on their way to someplace else.
Yeah,
So
as
those
we've
are all
traveled,
opportunities for some revenue generating, and that's why it's kind of in phase one. Things that maybe could bring in a little bit of revenue that we could kind of, get some experience with, those are some of the ideas for phase one.
Yeah, RV parks are, little city RV parks are very nice for travelers.
Yes,
'Cause
yeah,
it's a
for
break
sure.
from the other stuff. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anything else on this, or before I just go right into like next steps? Okay. So we shared with council that we're just gathering the last feedback. So we presented this at a work session to hear their thoughts, to get any last, they got one-on-one sessions. They were able to come to the open house. We've met with all of our current event planners in several meetings that we shared with all of you. We've done a survey. So really right now, we'll be taking back just the master plan part to city council for them to approve what is the master plan. Phasing is a ongoing discussion. That's going to really depend on what are all these houses that are coming in. What is our what does our fund balance look like? What can we afford to do? And then also just prioritizing. So city council and our community helping to prioritize, are these important things for us to be doing? So that will all be decided. And in the meantime, we'll be doing design and a couple of those really quick amenities that we think can be the biggest bang for buck.
So basically, the sales tax generated on the north side is kind of supporting the south side, but the south side sales tax is supporting us. Can I explain it like that?
Here's, I don't know. That sounds confusing to me. Having more people brings in more sales tax is what I can definitely say. There is no way of dividing out where that sales tax is all going into the general fund pot of money. So here's what I will say. Not only are we gaining houses on the south side, but as you guys have seen, I think there's like 1,000 homes in the north side that are coming in. So all of that is benefiting us. So I would just, and again, we're really trying hard not to have a north side and a south side, and I feel bad that I didn't say that sooner. We want to be one city of Apache Junction, and every other city in the whole state, well, in the whole country, has areas that are rural, and areas that are downtown, and areas that are high density. We will have some of that.
Yeah.
We really want everybody to know that we care about all of our areas, and all of the areas contribute to each other. So, sorry, I can't
that's
explain
okay.
it
I
better,
like
but
how you
more
just did
people
that.
in
Yeah.
general
Yeah.
means that we can
That works.
support all of these things that we
Right.
want throughout the community. Okay, anything else? We'll keep you posted.
Perfect.
Sometimes I need things explained several times.
And that's what the purpose is here. Honestly, you guys need to know. You're the ones who are representing the community. And so we really want you to be
The more
like you're aware.
information put out, the less rumors there are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
The better I understand it,
The better you can qualify.
I can correct those rumors.
All right, moving along to update and presentation on the Apache Junction's 2024 Tree City USA status.
Yay. So
Love it.
this one is really quick. I will just, oh, great. See, Liz,
Hold on.
there's
There
a
you go.
little
There you
thing
go.
here.
There you
Okay,
go.
there we
Yes.
go. So I just, you guys have been involved since the beginning and have, heard from the advocates in our community for getting here, helped us to get the steps. There were many, many steps that we had to take, including, changing some of the things in our code. We were already well on our way to doing some other really amazing things like our tree inventory that we'd already started. And then just having a maintenance program that we have adopted and that we are working with our supervisors and our maintenance team, talking about how after every tree that we lose or every tree that is donated, having a plan for all of those things. So those have all been put into place. We finally received our designation, and we were able to get recognized at the Arbor Day event at the state capitol and get our certificate. But I also just wanted to share with you guys, and I don't know where there's
Wow.
Matthew, wherever you're at, he wanted me to share this. We shared this with the city council, but this is what we'll be able to hang up either here or at our Parks and Rec. But even more exciting is
The bigger one?
now we're a Tree City USA. We'll be able to add that. I'm not sure exactly where those are going on the street, but probably by our Playful City USA signs someplace. But just joining about 30 some other cities within the state of Arizona that have received that designation. So we're super proud of that. Elliot will be doing a whole lot of things in his outdoor rec capacity to kind of help continue that. Grimm was very instrumental in helping to run the project and to get our Tree City status. And we just want to thank you guys for all of your support on this. Any questions about Tree City?
I didn't do any homework on that. So does that mean that we as a city are required to have like a certain amount and an amount or maintained, or we have to each year we have to keep?
Great question. It's not really about an amount of trees. It's about the strategies that we're doing to always be increasing tree canopy and reducing heat islands, maintaining what we have, and having a strategy for all of that. But we will be, so every year you have to renew. So this isn't a one and done type of thing. There will be even more steps that we have to take, but we're prepared for them. So really it's about showing your tree stewardship and that we care about these kinds of things. We're doing a lot of things with native trees so that we're not, pulling from our water sources and all of those kinds of things. But we've got a lot of things that are in the works. So we do have to continue to maintain, but it isn't about, number of trees.
And we know where all those heated spots are in the community, or will they do a
So
overall-
there's actually whole state of Arizona heat maps and heat analysis that show where heat islands are, where there's a lot of concrete or asphalt and not a lot of vegetation. We've identified the areas that are in public spaces. We're working with SRP right now on potentially a right tree, right place. I might have that backwards. But a whole program where they come and they remove trees that are in utility line areas, and for every tree that's removed, they plant 2 trees in more correct places, or a tree in that same place that's going to grow appropriately for overhead lines and things like that. So it really is just us establishing in the areas that we know where we want it to be more walkable, where we want people to stay, there needs to be more shade.
Yes.
So.
We got some new business and the presentation update on programs within senior services and youth out-of-school time programs.
JJ.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're good, JJ.
Good. All right, so about a month ago or so, we were asked to go in and present to the Health and Human Services Board on our senior. Oh, I was like, somebody else move the mic.
You can't multitask.
Okay. So about a month ago, we were asked to come in and present to Health and Human Services Board, kind of just give a snapshot of our senior services programs and how it pertains to their funding and everything. So we were asked to come back and give the presentation. So I'm going to kind of go over and give you guys a quick snapshot of what we talked about and how a little bit of the history of our program, and then our funding for it now and what we have going on currently. So just a back history on our program. So senior services previously used to be run by a organization, so a nonprofit called East Valley Adult Resources, and they were here for a very long time. If you were here back in the day, they were here for probably almost 30 years, I believe. And so they were funded through federal AAA dollars, so Area Agency on Aging, which is run through Pinal-Gila Council for Senior Citizens here in Pinal County. So they cover Pinal and Gila County for all the senior services in this area. And so Health and Human Services used to fund a portion of their cost that the city provided. So they would give them a little bit of money, and then they would raise their additional monies and everything like that. And then the city contributed the facility. So back when we were at the library, they ran it there way back before we had our multi-gen center. And then when we built the multi-gen center, they moved over into that side and were provided offices, and we paid for the utilities and that kind of stuff. In 2017, so EVAR gave notice that they were no longer going to fund senior services here in Apache Junction. And so the city council voted to take it on rather than let, the hundreds and thousands of seniors that we were serving or they were serving go without services. So at the time, Parks and Recreation stepped up and was able to take it over. And so we've been running it ever since. And so Health and Human Services funding, the money that they used to get was actually moved back to the general fund. So the important takeaway I want to stress is that we didn't take money from them or anything. The money that we were getting was just reallocated back to the general fund. So important information there, I think. So just a little bit of information about our actual program and our actual participation numbers, and you can kind of see the numbers up here. This numbers run February to March of last year, so a one-year snapshot. We gave out 30,000 meals, so 13,000 of those meals were in person, in congregate, in our multi-gen center, and then 17,000 meals were delivered to homebound seniors here in Apache Junction. And so the homebound seniors are all residents of Apache Junction. You have to live within the city limits in order to receive those. The congregate meals is open to anybody, but about 90% of our members that do come in do live within our city limits and that attend our programs. We offer transportation, so as you can see, we do about 5,000 rides to and from the center, including shopping trips, medical trips, and stuff like that. And then our social programs, which I'll kind of go into our next slide, but that's kind of one of our biggest areas and one that we feel the most need. We offer meals Monday through Friday, but our social programs is really what we focus on. And so our staff this year, our big focus was increasing our activities, and you can see from the list here, thanks to my great staff, a lot of them are ones that they taught and ones that they brought in from other agencies or other senior centers that we visited, do research and everything like that. So you can kind of see that the ones on the left here are all the ones that we are already offering, and then this is the ones that we've added just this year alone. So doing different types of things that our seniors have brought to us that they wanted to offer. So music jams, karaoke, cooking demonstrations, ball drumming, chair volleyball has been super popular, and they've actually become so popular that we're doing them 3 times, like originally started, we were just gonna try them out, and now we're doing them multiple times a month and filling up every single time. So our activities are booming, and that's kind of what we're really about, because the meals are great, but the socializing and everything like that is really what we're trying to promote at our center. So right here you can see is just a quick snapshot of kind of our funding, and I'm not gonna go over all the numbers because it's kind of boring, but the most important thing I want to take away from this is that you can see the 230,000 that is out of the cost, or a lot of that is indirect cost, and so our actual what goes to the general fund is actually a lot smaller. So this includes facility costs, staff costs, all that, everything like that. It's really a lot smaller. Pinal Gila Council for Senior Citizens, who I mentioned before, is our agency on aging. They're actually the ones who handle the meals in the kitchen, and so the meals cost is $92,000 is actually their cost that comes out of them, and then they also additionally give us money for transportation. So the city actually only really spends around $28,000-ish out of the general fund, not including our small amount that we have for activities and stuff like that. So we do a lot of it.
Well, can I just say, so again, back to what he was saying about indirect costs. So plus all the utilities,
Right.
the space, JJ's salary, Jody's salary, some of those things are all indirect. But those are the amounts that are to the programs themselves. So just keep in mind, that's what we're talking about with that 230,000.
So on top of just the programs we offer, we're fortunate to be able to sponsor or to partner with a lot of other community partners here in Apache Junction. As I mentioned with our Rise in Transportation, so CACDD, or Central Arizona Council for Development with Disabilities, they are the ones who give us our rides to our seniors. So we contract with them to bring our seniors to and from the center, offer shopping trips, and then a partnership that with them and the Superstition Mountain or Superstition Food Bank, we've actually started offering food boxes twice a month, so senior community food boxes through our partnership with the food bank, which was something that we've always been asked about since we took over in 2017. And thanks to their work and Eric and everybody up at the food bank, we're finally able to get them going. So that's been super popular. We've been having people every week adding on more and more for our food boxes to help serve our homebound seniors or seniors that don't drive to get food boxes. Oak Street Health is another big partner of ours. They're a local medical here in town, and they've sponsored a lot of our stuff in the past. And then Friends of Apache Junction is who we run all of our cafe and everything through. So we're able to fundraise a little bit of money there, and that helps funnel back into the program. And that's how we provide our coffee and popcorn and stuff for our cafe and everything in there. The Televita is our last one that I want to speak about, and that's a newer one that we got. So we got a scholarship through WellCare, which is another thing to sponsor us to be involved in this program. And so they offer different types of fitness classes, bingo classes, which is one of our most important things that we offer. So we're offering more bingo every month. I know, more bingo for Cheryl.
I'm gonna start coming in late to work on those Tuesdays.
I know. So we're able to do more online bingo. They send us prizes to increase our numbers and everything like that. So that's all for seniors. So just wanted to give a real quick recap or a preview kind of what we're going on with our school programs. So on top of running off the seniors, I also do our school programs and teen programs. And so this summer, we're super excited. We're going to be moving our summer camp program off-site. So Norm, for the past few years, for a while, we've always had it at the Multi-Gen Center, and it's great during the breaks, but during the summer, it's crowded. There's so much stuff going on. We're fighting for space. We can only take limited number of kids. And so we're excited to move back to an off-site location this year. We're going to be running our program at Four Peaks, and this is going to allow us to increase our numbers. We're looking to hopefully double at least our numbers for this summer going forward. And so part of the partnership, and one another reason we're excited, is that the Apache Junction School District is going to be offering free lunch program at our site. So not only can parents sign up for our program, but the school will be there to offer free lunch, so parents don't have to worry about providing lunch. And then it'll also be another site that helps the school district out, and it's open to the public, so any of the public can come in and have
what
lunch.
a great way to utilize the school while it's closed.
What's that?
What a great way to
Yeah, we used to do it for a long time, and then when stuff, COVID and everything like that, we kind of shrunk down even before that, but then we're excited to go back out. So this program's going to run May 29th to July 5th, so covering almost the whole summer. I think there's 1 week that we don't. School goes back super early. They go back like the 17th or something like that. So there'll be 1 week that there won't be program provided for the kids. We're super excited about that. And then lastly, I just want to talk about our Youth Advisory Council. So next week, we're actually our Youth Advisory Council will be attending the City Council meeting and giving a recap on the year, but just a real quick recap on what we did this year. So we held 19 meetings. We had 10 members that were in our Youth Advisory Council this year, all returners from last year. Right, all returners from last year. During the course of this year, they volunteered over 300 hours, and we hosted our own event just a couple weeks ago in collaboration with the student council at the high school. We ran a movie night and had CAC out there and just focused on teen mental health. So we had information on that kind of stuff and trying to promote positive teen mental health. We had about 50 kids show up at that, so we were pretty happy with that for our first movie night thing. And then part of our big thing is attending conferences and partnering with other agencies to try to get the kids more training for the future and everything like that. So we've been meeting at different places, off-site location, and so one of our big ones we did this year was at CAC, and they taught our kids about the different importances of how you can earn college credit while going to school. So in high school, you can earn college credit. You can dual enroll, you can knock out your English classes and stuff like that. And we actually had a couple of our kids that have signed up in the program and already enrolled in CAC. So that was a big goal of ours this year, is to try to get more developmental stuff for our kids going forward. And that is all I have. Questions?
Well, just that, I remember when the change took place in 2017, and it was really dramatic. Liz was just getting warmed up, settling in, and here comes this avalanche, and it was outstanding how the department handled it.
We appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely didn't think we'd ever be doing seniors.
No, it
But
was such a
we're
shock.
very happy. I mean, it's awesome to do, so
Well, it's been done so well.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I do have a question on technology. Do you have anything where you're helping seniors with technology?
So actually, yeah,
The
part of
the
our,
advances in technology.
yeah, so so we've tried a couple things. We've done partnership with the library to offer a Tech Thursday. And then we're also part of Televita, as they have, part of that sponsorship we have with Televita. They actually offer tech programs too that we put up on our screen, and that they have people that teach tech in the lunchroom before our lunches and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's how to fix our phones when we hit it wrong.
Jody and I are on site to do that all the time also nonstop.
And one question for me, so when any of the participants that go to open gym, there's no additional paperwork, they just get free lunch?
Yeah, correct. It's part of our program. You just sign up and the school has it there. And actually, you don't even have to, anybody could just show up, so you don't even have to be in our program. Anybody from the public can take their kids there. And I believe as long as don't call me because the school runs it, but if you're under 18, anybody can eat for free. And so we'll be sharing the gym with the public during that time frame as people come in and just have free lunch from anywhere.
And then if I could just echo, Frank's sentiment. So JJ's really, I mean, it was kind of like, hey, we're going to have you run senior program. Didn't have any experience with that, but went out and learned and looked to see what other agencies were doing, him and Jamie. And, JJ became the beloved grandson of everybody when he first started. And so I just really, it's a huge credit to JJ of taking that on. And then Jody's also in the audience. So adding Jody to that team, they both do such a fantastic job running our senior services. But I think it's just really interesting, they're on both sides of the spectrum. So they're running our senior programs as well as our young youth grade school age group. And they do a fantastic job with both. So we really appreciate them.
Good job, sir.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, so we're going to do, is there any public who would like to speak? No? Okay, all right, just need to confirm. All right. For our commissioners, is there any suggestions or recommendations being added to the next agenda? Anyone with some ideas? Follow up on anything?
I'd like to see follow-up on the Arts Commission. What kind of ideas are coming up out of there? And
Nothing else? Okay, no?
No.
All right, just checking. All right, so we got the selection of meeting dates, times, and location. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that the Parks and Recreation Commission hold a regular meeting on June 5th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard.
May I have a second?
I second. I gotta beat Terrell.
All right, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Cheryl Bigelow,
Yes.
Judy Bory,
yes.
Felicia Madrid is excused, Terrell Moore,
Yes.
DL Kine is excused, Frank Shanebeck,
Yes.
and Heather Moeller.
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous and it passes.
All right. And it looks like we're going to, well, does it matter which time? Because I don't see it on my computer. 7:18, all right. So then this meeting is adjourned. 7:18.
Jamie, thank you once